Hi there, Steph. Thanks for popping by. So today I'm sharing with you two cards I created using the Altenew Tulip stamp set and the We Are Memories Keeper embossing folder. You know, the new one that are a bit more details and a bit more 3D and stuff like that. So I start by using a piece of my Strathmore Tone Grey paint. And I use a piece of A5. I wanted to use rainbow colors, so I stamped 7 different tulips, and I was trying to think of a way where I could use the whole page, maybe as a front and the back of a card or something like that. And in the end, it didn't quite suit me, so I just decided to cut it into two pieces basically, and then to add a bit of texture with the embossing folder. So I used the Prismacolor pencil to do the coloring. I used 4 different shades, I think, for every color. Maybe 3 for some of them actually, but 4 for the yellow for sure. And sometimes it's a bit harder to layer. I think the yellow was a bit harder to layer until I went to the kind of orangey color that you can see on the side of the screen. I got a lot of residues this time, I'm not sure why, so I used my paintbrush quite a lot, and the reason I use a paintbrush rather than just my arm to flick the residue is that I don't want to spread them and smudge them against the paper, and the paintbrush does help me to kind of lift it off without lifting the paper off, but lifting off, you know, the all the extra bits. So here for the reds, I think, yeah, I used 4 different shades as well. I used a shade of brown for the really dark color at the bottom. For the orange, as you can see, I probably used 4 colors, and I used a red one at the bottom to intensify. That's something I kind of discovered with time. I used to look for 3 different shades of orange or 3 different shades of red or something like that, and then I reached the point where there was no darker red than the one I had. And that's kind of where I had to kind of start thinking, how do I get a darker shade on that red if I don't have a darker red? And I started to use brown. The same way I would use orange for a dark part of a yellow flower, and I would use a red for the dark part of an orange flower, and so on. And it's something silly, but I kind of started doing that with time, so I don't know, I hope maybe it's helpful for someone out there. I had the hardest time blending the green tulip, and then afterward I thought, a green tulip, what is that? But anyway, I did it. I was going for rainbow colors, and on that one I did use actually the colorless blender. Probably not now, maybe after, but that did help me kind of blend, because for some reason I just couldn't blend it properly. It's just one of these things. Then for the green, the blue, sorry, I was going for a blue-green, and then I kind of shifted onto a blue-blue. But I still like it. I still think it's quite pretty. But you see in my hand right now, that's kind of a blue-green, and that as well. But I don't know, it worked, so hey. Let's just get on with things. Then for the other one, for the other blue-green, I didn't have the exact lightest shade of blue-green I wanted. But just remember, I have a certain 72 pen set. There are some 100, I think the top one is 150. So then I'm sure you have all colors you could ever dream of. But in that case, because I didn't have the lightest shade of blue I wanted, I basically colored in white, and then with a light hand I used the blue, and then use that same blue but with a darker, sorry, a heavier hand for the darker shades, and then another darker color. So although I didn't have the exact color, you know, I kind of managed to make it work. So it's not because you don't have the biggest set that you can't do what you want. Just try to think a little bit, how can I mix my colors, a bit like you would do with copic if you pick it up from a piece of acetate or a block or something like that. So here for the purple, for example, I only seem to have used 3 different color, and you know, it works. It works. It looks pretty nice. I think it looks pretty nice. I really like the contrast between the flower and the stone grey cardstock, and I'm always amazed at how much coverage you get with these crayons. But they are really waxy, you know. I'm not saying they go down super quick, but if you only did Prismacoloring, I'm not sure how long a box would last, but I don't think it would last a year. It depends how often you color, obviously. But I do a few cards a week, and I don't think it would last me forever if I just did that. Thankfully, I really like my copics, so you know, mix a bit of this and a bit of that. Then for the leaf, I decided to go with 3 different shades because I struggle so much to blend on the tulip. I decided that 3 different shades for the leaves would be a bit easier. And I'm not going to show you all the leaves because there's too many and it would take forever, so I'm just showing you the first one, and then I just move forward to the shading of the flower. I use the cool grey markers. They look really nice with that tone grey cardstock. Is kind of like a match made in heaven because they're really made to work together. They're not made to work together, but they really work well together. And then I use a Sakura gel pen. I don't know if you've seen my previous video, but I don't think the pigment pen works really well on the Prismacolor, but the Sakura gel pen does. That's the only gel pen I have. I'm not saying another gel pen wouldn't work, that's just the only one I have. And here I move forward, so not to, you know, to keep your attention. I've done the shading on all the flowers, and I've done all the black gel pen on all the flowers as well. But it's, you know, it's exactly the same steps repeated several times. And then I moved on to the glitter. So I really like this copic Atue speaker, and they do look very pretty. It's not really obvious on the photo, on the video, I think. It's all about the lighting, and I'm still in a, I have a new setup, and I'm still in the process of finding the right fit, you know, right color, right distance from the mat, and not having my hair in the way and stuff like that. So hopefully you will see an improvement in that over the next few weeks. And then I decided to add a little bit more white gel pen just to create a little bit more dimension. And then I let it dry for a while actually, because I wasn't quite sure where I was going, and I had not received the embossing folder at that stage, so I left it, and then probably the day after, maybe 2 days later, I decided to cut it down to A6 size, and I received the embossing folders, and they were really tricky to get. I'm not joking with the packaging. And then I decided to do one in each, and which was already got that wrong. I always get it wrong. I always put the wrong tab. What was quite funny is that although it was 2 days later, the Prismacolor actually rubbed off onto the embossing folder, and I actually had to clean it, and it actually did stain, and I struggled to remove it. That's how pigmented these Prismacolors are, but that's pretty cool. So then I glued my card front onto my card. My mistake, I didn't quite follow the edges on one of them, you know, didn't glue all the way around the edges, and I had to do it afterwards, but you know, it's something you can fix, it's no biggie. Here you go. And then I thought I needed a little bit of a gritting because otherwise it's a bit bland. So I stamped a few grittings off camera because I was literally off camera, I was on the side of the screen. So I skipped that bit, and then I cut little strips, cut little pointy ends to make it look like a banner, a bit of double-sided foam tape, add it onto a card, and I did put some Speaker Atue black glittery pen. I think the black glittery pen is actually a really cool idea because you wouldn't necessarily think you're gonna use a black glittery pen. I mean, I don't really know if I would use a black glittery pen a lot, but actually here it was actually quite cool. It adds the glitter without adding the dimension, and then if you just apply it, you know, you don't have to retrace exactly the letters because we're not computers, we just have hands. So I thought it looked pretty, it was pretty cool. Anyway, and then I also added a bit of shading around the little banner because I thought I needed it to match the flowers. I think it looks a bit nicer. And that's it really. I hope you find it interesting. I think you've seen me use Prismacolor before, but I think it's a really cool medium. And I really love these tulips. They are really cool and really cute. They're elegant, but I think it's quite a fun way to use them and make them really colorful and really pop against the cast. So thank you very much for watching. Please don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel, and don't hesitate to head over to my blog to see the photos, and have a great day. Thanks again, and bye.